Welcome to my victory garden. It's been a very busy garden work weekend. I've been harvesting a little bit all week long, some spinach and peas and herbs and lettuce, lots and lots of lettuce. But this is one of the more exciting times in the garden. Not only is we're harvesting, but there's still so much to plant and do. So that order from Stark Brothers, that was last I checked, saying May, well, about half of it arrived today, the Blackberries. Still waiting on the LSU fig and the grape collection. But while we were picking up some sand to finish up our brick pathway, which I'm going to show you in just a little bit, they had some things half off at Home Depot. So now I have a Chicago Hardy fig, a grape Suffolk or something like that, a couple of dahlias, and gladiolas. The dahlias, they fascinate me. They are such beautiful flowers. I planted a whole bunch last year. None of them bloomed. One of them grew back this year, so I'm really excited to see what that one is. But so I need to figure out where the dahlias and the gladiolas are going to go. I know where I'm putting the grape. This, with the ones I ordered from Stark Brothers, was going to be 4 grape plants. The others are 2 different types of muscadine and then a red flame seedless grape. I think it's called their Southern Grape Collection. Pretty excited about that. But I've got 3 different types of blackberries here. I think it's Arapaho, Chester, and Triple Crown. They're each going to harvest at a different time. I have one blackberry last year that was part of a set I bought at Home Depot. Only one survived. I think it's actually the Arapaho now that it's starting to grow, and it's got a nice upright cane coming up. That's what my Arapahos I had in the past did. So pretty excited about that. These gladiolas, are they not beautiful? And Sage, Sage-a-boo. Sage, isn't she beautiful? She's always underfoot these days. I've tripped over a few times out here. But yeah, let me show you the brick pathway we finally got put together, which, by the way, please note that that big old pile of bricks is gone. Pretty excited about that too. Of course, we need to trim up or pull up the grass there that was trying to grow through all the bricks. And you will note this pretty yellow celosia that my wife picked up while we were at Home Depot. She thought it went well with the red one that she had gotten in Louisiana. So we have that. So this brick pathway is made all from salvaged material. I had a couple of different folks offer them up on Facebook for free. Big old piles of bricks. And I'd pick them up. They sat out here for over a year, in some cases almost 2 years, I think. But we finally got them in the ground. I'd made some progress earlier, and then me and my wife got out early this morning, and in about 2 hours between the two of us, we got it done. I think she still has some sand to drop into and pea gravel where we've got some holes. But look at it. I'm so excited. You see where she put some pea gravel in here, where it gaped. Like I said, this is all imperfect. This is all salvaged material. So I'm pretty excited. Down here, we're going to get some wood chips to fill in for now. And it goes all the way here behind the compost. Note we have some pallets for the compost. Ignore those bags. Those are coffee grounds that she picked up at Starbucks for us. But yay! And those scalloped concrete pieces, those are actually salvaged from my grandfather's garden. We use those around the apple tree as well, as you can see. And yes, we do have lots of garden tools left out from this morning's work because I have a lot more to do today. Please note, I showed you the blackberries and fig and grape that need to go in the ground. I also got almost all that lettuce out and took and fed them to chickens and came home with a big old basket full of eggs. My friend Julie is extremely generous with the eggs. Let's see, what else have we got going on here? The peppers are starting to bloom, but my tomatoes haven't shown any signs of it yet. At least not these. My Egyptian walking onions are being kind of funny. And so instead of putting on the little bulbettes, it seems the little casing around them didn't open. And so they're just growing onions on top of the previous onion. Thought that was kind of funny. And my gumbo onion bloomed. I've already harvested some basil. I think I probably need to harvest some more. And I'm very excited. My peanuts are blooming, or not blooming, sprouting. This is the first time I've ever tried this. I understand my great-grandparents grew peanuts up in northern Texas many, many years ago, as well as cotton. But yeah, I'm going to grow some peanuts. And I do have some young lettuces growing in here and some spinach, so we still have some leafy greens. I harvested a bunch of Swiss chard the other day for dinner, and I've got some sugar snap peas here. I need to harvest some more because we're going to have those with dinner, I guess tomorrow, because I'm actually too tired to cook today. I'll cook tomorrow, but I've got all the ingredients for a beef ramen dish that will use up those sugar snap peas nicely. And then my little wonder peas are coming in too. I've harvested and shelled a few of those already. I'll probably throw those in with the beef ramen. And my nasturtium bloomed. I'm not sure what that is next to it. I'm going to wait and let it get a bit bigger before I do anything about it. And it looks like one of my squashes finally bloomed. I reseeded these a few days ago. And the white scallop here is blooming, but I'm not seeing any signs from the zucchini or yellow squash. I've got these. Remember I don't know if they're onions or leeks. They're leeks. I'm so happy. They're what I wanted. So I'm excited to have a few leeks this year. I need to try to reseed radish again because I really want those. I understand they're supposed to be really good to help deter or confuse the pests for my squash. I think tomorrow I'll harvest 2 more of the potato plants and have some new potatoes. They're getting really big, except for that one. That one is stunted. I don't know why. The other day I planted beans, butterfly pea, and corn in here. And something is sprouting. I suspect it's one of the beans. But the sweet potatoes I put in, it looked kind of limp at the time, but they've thrived in all the rain we've had recently. And so this is that blackberry I was telling you about. You see how upright that cane is growing? I'm really thinking that's Arapaho, and I have little bitty berries over here. Aren't they cute? I love blackberries. I grew up with My grandparents had this field behind their house where my grandfather had planted some blackberries that he had taken from his family's farm in Louisiana and brought to his place in Fort Worth, and it just took over, filled this entire field. It was actually owned by the school board. He had rented it for horses, and then when he stopped renting it, the blackberries just kind of took over, and he would go and plow trails through it for us to be able to get in there and pick blackberries. Actually, I think they were like dewberries. They were a wild blackberry. And there was this 10-year long drought, and it just wiped them out. But that was one of my favorite childhood memories. We'd get out there early in the morning before it got too hot and pick berries. And I think I probably ate more than I actually put in my little bucket. And Grandma would fuss. But then we would have blackberry cobbler, and she'd start making blackberry jelly. That was actually the first canning project I ever did, was her teaching me how to make blackberry jelly. And I miss homemade blackberry jelly. Nothing quite tastes like it. She also used to do a muscadine grape jelly, because along the perimeter of that field were these muscadine grapes that just covered the trees, and she would harvest those and make me grape jelly. The stuff in the store always tasted more like Kool-Aid than what I thought of grape jelly should taste like, so I'm not real fond of store-bought grape jelly. We did get some muscadine grape jelly in Louisiana. Pretty excited about that. I haven't opened it yet. I think that was our New Orleans trip. We went to a plantation just outside of town, and they had a cute little shop. Once again, this is that raspberry from last year. The new cane's coming in beautifully. I'm not seeing any sign of life on last year's cane. And this is this year's. It's been eaten by something, but I'm seeing signs that I might get like 3 raspberries off that. And these zinnias are ones that I saved the seeds from, the ones I grew last year. All the zinnia seeds I was gifted did not sprout, but these are doing well. And there's that one dahlia of the dozen I planted last year that survived. And I don't know what color it is. I can't remember. We will find out when it comes up. And I think this is my Bells of Ireland. We'll see for sure when it gets a little bigger. I planted a bunch of seeds of Bells of Ireland and poppy here, and well, I'm not seeing any signs of those. Just the zinnias and 2 of the sunflowers. I planted like 3 or 4 different varieties of sunflowers, and only 2 seeds sprouted, but they were older, so not unexpected. And then of course my beans. I'm really excited about beans again this year. I was mistaken when I said the tricolor beans did not sprout. A few of them had. It was the Blue Lake green beans that never sprouted. So I replanted those because I had a few more Blue Lake beans. Not sure if they will come up. If they don't, I'll put in something else. Maybe those red beans that I cut from the bag from my Costco trip, and put those in there. Only a few of those little container French beans sprouted, and a few of the tricolor. It looks like it's all the red ones came up because there were like 3 different colors, like a white, a brown, and a red. And I'm going to guess, based on the fact that they have red stems, that those are the red ones. So I tried to separate them out with like the white in one square and the red in another and the brown ones in a third. And then this is my pintos. I actually bought pinto seeds this year instead of doing the bag of pintos from the grocery store. Those had not been working for me the last few years, although that's how my grandfather always grew them. And then over here are some red kidney beans. Once again, I actually bought seeds. But like I said, the store-bought bag of beans is doing just fine for those red beans. And I finally planted those last 2 Creole tomatoes, and I added the Archangel Angelina with it that my wife had picked up in Louisiana. I thought, they're all from Louisiana, they can go together, right? Okay, not exactly logical, but it fit. I think it fits. These actually had a couple little blooms on that I pinched off before planting them, unlike all the ones that are in the ground. And these are the pickle bush cucumbers. I replanted the seeds after the others had died in the freeze. The Marketmore and Muncher that I reseeded don't seem to have done much of anything, but that's fine. I mostly need pickling cucumbers. These roses have not bloomed. I think some of those yellow leaves on them. I hope they're going to be okay. But the Purple Floor Show has been doing wonderful. I've been leaving the buds in hopes that they will form some hips. But my muskmelon and cantaloupe as the Hell's Best and Crenshaw muskmelon, I think, is what I have survived and are holding out fairly nicely. But yeah, that's the garden today. I need to get to work. I spent my entire morning working on that pathway, and when it cools off a little bit, I need to get all my new plants in the ground. Considering if this thing had died when I tried filming last time when I was planting, I'm just going to show you what I do when I'm done, because it's still hot out here. Okay, I'm pretty excited. Not sure if you remember me talking about how I might have to move these garlic. They are conveniently not in the way of where I want to plant. They fall right between all of the places I'm going to put the blackberries. So they can stay until they are ready to be pulled. So yay! And I've got these in order. I said I'm pretty sure this is an Arapaho. So I'm putting this Arapaho next to it. And those should mature in June. And then the Chester here is supposed to mature in July. That will be next July. I'm not going to get any this year. And then the Triple Crown that are supposed to mature in August. And then I have all of this space here to plant something. I'm thinking maybe next year I'll plant up some more artichokes to put there, but I'm thinking maybe for the summer I might put some more peppers. I've got some little cayenne seeds that sprouted, so that might be some peppers. So this puny little stick is what came in this box for the Chicago Hardy fig. I'm putting it in a pot for the next year or so. Oh, provided it survives. I'm a little concerned about this, to be honest. When I got it, it had a little stick that was sticking out that I thought, oh yeah, this should be. No. It was broken in half, and then this is what was left. This tiny thing. So it has to go into a pot for now, just so it doesn't actually get run over by a lawnmower. Hopefully it will do well over the next year or so, and then can go in the ground. So some of my other weekend tasks have been potting up these sweet potatoes. They were in those little cells, and honestly, I just don't have a place to put them just yet. I know where they're going. I've got things in the way right now. And I was surprised to see the cayenne sprouted, as did one of those Cubanelle sweet peppers. And then I let some suckers get a little too big on the potato plants and decided to see if I could start more plants. Not that I've got a place to put them, but maybe I can gift them if they work. I've had success with this in the past. We'll see. They're looking a little limp after only a day in their little pots. So this is my wife finishing up putting together the compost bin. She's putting like a little wire fence across the front so that it is not prone to fall out and go everywhere. She does like things to be tidy, and yet she lives with me. But I was able to get a little bit of actual compost out of there. I'll throw that somewhere else in the garden. It's not enough to really save for anything, but yay. I have my ginger mint that I got in Louisiana that I potted up. And this is that patio peach, the bonfire. And my apple tree is putting on even more blooms. This is a stark, something red Roma. It's supposed to make a ton of apples. I don't think this thing is big enough to support more than one apple. So this thing will get cut back. And the mockingbird, of course, is absolutely loving this tree. And then this afternoon, Sunday afternoon, the LSU fig and the grapes arrived. Once again, this was the things that Stark Brothers was constantly changing my expected delivery date. These things just showed us shipped Saturday, but I got the LSU fig planted in the front yard near the Celeste fig that I have had for about a dozen years. Digging in this rocky clay is horrible, but I got it done. And that is 12 years worth of growth. And that's after I cut off 4 feet last year on that Celeste. And then I got the grapes in. So we have the Suffolk that I got at Home Depot. We will see how it does. And then I put in the red flame seedless grape. And then after that is the Cowart muscadine. And I'm going to trellis these posts and or espalade them, and then along the crossbars there. And then this is the Fry muscadine. I'm not really familiar with those. The pictures don't look anything like what I'm used to seeing on muscadine. They're more kind of a golden red tint. So I'm pretty excited about seeing how those go. And maybe I can make myself some muscadine grape jelly like my grandmother used to make back in the day. And this little mockingbird is showing no fear. He doesn't care that we're out here working in the garden. He doesn't care about the dog, anything. He just kind of makes his way throughout the yard. But anyway, if you're enjoying watching how my garden is progressing this year, please like and subscribe. I do find it very encouraging when people are commenting and liking on the videos. I am hoping to start doing some more cooking from the garden. I am cooking from the garden, but I'm hoping to have the energy to show you what I'm making, as I am not doing quite so much intense planting, because I think the most of that is done. As I pull up the potatoes, I'll put in some more corn and beans. And when I pull up the onions and garlic, I'll put in more corn. But yeah, this is how we're going right now. Please enjoy my little antics of my little mockingbird. I think he might need a name. We need to think about that. What should I call him?